What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Dual Senses, a PlayStation podcast, where we, your host, Alex Wolf, and
Stephen Morrow.
Holy shit, he nailed it first time, ladies and gents. I say that, but I'm also guilty of it. We re-give you our 2 cents on everything PlayStation. You can find the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube if you are a fan of the show. Please like, rate, and subscribe, doing the things. Also, we want the show to grow. We want it to do really cool and nifty things in the future, but we need your help. So, if you head on over to mtfproductions.com/donate, you can send us as little as $1 to help us grow things like equipment, software, space, all that sorts of niche stuff. It all starts there. So, without further ado, though, Steven.
Yes.
We got some bits.
Yeah, conveniently, as some people might remember, in the last episode we were talking about how State of Play was weird and we needed a new one, but it needed to not be some stupid little thing. And then, literally that same day, State of Play was announced. So we've got all the State of Play news, and some other random little bits.
Yeah, but we got, I would say honestly, a whole lot of big bits. There's no small bits, maybe one medium bit, but a whole lot of big bits.
So we talking like 32-bit? With like some 8-bit sprinkled throughout?
Well, hold on. I mean, there's 64-bit. Like, would 64-bit be considered the big boys, or like, is that just too much? Is that like the obesity of bits?
The obit city?
Obituary?
Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
I mean, if you get too large, you get the heart problems and all that stuff, and,
Listen,
obituary.
I have heart problems already. And I'm a small man, but I was born large.
You were... I was born large and in charge.
I honestly think I weigh the same as I did when I was first born. My body has just stretched.
You just taken 27 years to grow into.
Seriously. You've seen my baby pictures.
That is true. You were a rotund child.
I was like fucking descendant of Snorlax. It was rough.
Oof.
It was just a human beanbag chair.
Oh my god. Could you imagine someone sitting on you as a child mistaking you for a beanbag chair?
It probably happened. That would explain a lot.
Yeah, okay.
Seriously though, when I was a baby, I was like all the Locoroco when they merge into one.
And you just go, no!
They just all scream and become one fucking ball of lard. That was me as a child.
And you're just eating all the red stains you had in your face, the little cherries you eat and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like,
that was
such
a disaster.
This explains so much.
If I can find...
This explains.
I don't know if I have any, but if I can find a picture of me as a baby, maybe I'll put it on the blog post for this one.
I mean, I'm sure your mom has one. You could probably just ask her to take a picture of it.
Yeah.
It was in the dining room for years, so I mean, it couldn't have gone far.
Fucking dining room.
So, everyone, if anyone who came to your house and sat down and ate, there's just you with that fucking cheese and smile. Like, yeah, you're eating that spaghetti. You're damn right.
Oh my god. So, to explain to some people who are missing some context, so, in this infamous picture of mine, I'm just this big old fat baby. And I'm wearing a magician hat, and I have a magic wand for some reason. And I have the biggest smile that you could ever see. It takes up, like, my entire face. But all around my mouth, it looks like I have spaghetti sauce.
Like, it's perma stain.
Like, it's like a stain of spaghetti sauce. But no, I had a really bad rash. So, like, there's just fat baby me. I'm naked other than a magician hat and a magic wand.
Like, practicing sorcery at its purest form. Eating something just...
This awful rash all over my fat face. Oh my god.
Fucking A. Alright,
well, so
let's just get into it.
That's all the PlayStation news for today. Thanks for tuning in. God.
let's just get into these bits here, and let's just kick off, guns a-blazing, like let's just get it swinging, and I mean Buster sword swinging, as Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade has been announced. So this is the enhanced PS5 version of last year's big Final Fantasy Square Enix whatnot hit. This comes relatively soon, so June 10th, 2021.
Yeah, that's just a couple few months.
Yeah, it's not far at all. Honestly, I'm not surprised that they're doing this, but I'm surprised it's coming as soon as it is. I don't know. I just was expecting this. Oh, okay. I thought this would fly under the radar because part 2 would happen eventually. That would just be the thing. They would just do it there. But no, this is a full-flown thing. So it's going to have 2 different performance modes, or I guess 2 different modes the game can run at. One is a graphics mode prioritizing 4K, and the other one is a performance mode prioritizing hitting 60 frames per second. So very similar to Final Fantasy 15 for those who played it.
Honestly, basically, that's just par for the course for all of these PS5 upgrades, really. Having those 2 modes, and then the frame rate versus 4K.
I'm kind of bummed because some PS5 games have are able to hit both in some fashion. Maybe trimming a few corners there and there, but for the most part doing it. The 4K and then focusing on performance or 4K thing is more of something we saw with the PS4 Pro. So I'm kind of bummed that's what we were doing for this, because why didn't this happen to begin with? But there's also a bunch of visual upgrades as well, especially the infamous texture issues that Final Fantasy VII Remake had originally.
Yeah.
Supposedly this mode fixes that, so this game should look downright gorgeous on your PS5 if you have a display capable of doing so. Which, if you have a PS5, I'd imagine that you would probably have a TV that can do this, because what's the point? But any user, it also comes including
I love how you're just there's no point in having a PS5 if you don't have a 4K TV.
I mean, it's at this point, yes, because a lot of these games are still available on the PS4 and PS4 Pro. Yeah. The only real big thing that you would see on the PS5 is how pretty it is. That's the thing. It's a launch console. It's gonna take its time getting to the what makes it next gen. That's fine.
Well, and performance though. Performance is a big deal. And
performance. Too. True, and you're not wrong. But I mean, at the same time, if you've if you've got a PS4 Pro, or you're not running any big performance heavy games, or hell, if you just select the mode of the game that just focuses on locking at 30 frames. You'll be okay on a PS4. There's no reason to have that big, massive honker of a console in there if your TV can't even keep up with it. Because that's another thing. If your TV can't hit 60 frames, then you don't need, you're not going to see it.
Yeah. Is this what you call your PS5? Is the massive honker?
The massive honker. The freshest big boy, occasionally, depending on my mood.
Ooh. Do they have big boy all over the country? Or is it just an around here thing?
I think it's more so on this side of the country. I think there's some sprinkled out. I know it's not called so there's I don't know the details in this. I think in some places it's actually called Frisch's, and other places it's just called Big Boy. Huh. And I think
I wonder if anywhere else it's just called the Big Honker.
I want royalties if that's happening.
Or the massive honker, the Frisch's honker, the boy honk.
Oh, the boy... That just sounds gross.
This sounds like a really bad superhero.
The boy honk.
My name is Chip, the boy honker. Jesus Christ.
Excuse me, sir. What do you honk?
He immediately gets arrested. That's it.
That's it. That's his. He shows his ability. No one knows what it is, but we know it landed him in prison.
It just makes people uncomfortable.
Yep. But anywho, so continuing on with these Final Fantasy VII Remake things, so it also includes a photo mode, which will be really nice because there's some gorgeous shots in this game, and if you fix those textures up, you got some primo screenshotos.
So that's actually something that surprised me, because I still haven't really gotten super far into Final Fantasy VII Remake, so I didn't really fuck around with menus or anything, but I thought the game already had a photo mode.
Nothing outside of pressing the share button on your PS4. That's about as far as it got.
That's redonkulous.
So it is. It is crazy. And then it didn't help, PlayStation has that share of the week thing. So I know at one point a focus was Final Fantasy VII Remake, but all of those screenshots were done just using the share button, which kudos to them for making a fucking button that just does that, to where you can still take a good screenshot without having to have this super in-depth detailed photo mode. But yeah, that's coming. I think also a big thing is like Final Fantasy VII Remake, with how long it took to come out. They're just like, let's just get it out there. We've got a new console on the horizon. We'll clean up whatever like minuscule things we need to. You know, as long as the game works and it still looks good, we'll just get it out. And then anything else that extra, we'll just tack on to the next gen version, which they've done. So now the big...
So that's Final Fantasy VII Remake coming out on PS5, basically, as an upgraded version. But that's old. What about some new stuff regarding Final Fantasy?
Some new stuff. We got a new story chapter, Steven.
Oh.
New story chapter. We got Yuffie Kisaragi, a fan favorite of the Final Fantasy VII story, finally coming, where you play as her and this new mysterious character joining her. I say mysterious, but I never played the original 7, but I've never seen this character in anything else I've played of 7 or seen of 7, so I'm assuming he's new to the remake story.
You talking about the sexy pirate man, or is this somebody else?
So, hold on. You kept saying the sexy pirate man was Biggs. Biggs has always been there. He's not a new character.
Oh, okay. Well,
so I had to explain to you. No, the new man is this dude with the giant staff with Yuffie. I've never seen him before. I don't know who this man is.
Well, as much as I like a man with a giant staff, I think the sexy pirate guy, that's my cup of tea. What's his name? Bigsby?
Biggs. Biggs. Just Biggs. Not Bigsby. Not a coffee place that you work at. Good God, talk about a sponsorship opportunity, though. You know what I mean?
I haven't brought that up to him yet, but I don't know.
I don't know if you shouldn't be the one to bring that up, because if they were like, well, how do we go about it? It's just it gets real bad real fast if you're the one pitching that idea.
Listen, when I'm not working, I can be real professional.
What?
Because like right now, technically, this is work. Like this is me working.
That is true.
But
there is nothing professional.
I know. That's why I said when I'm not working, I can be real professional.
So I have a hard time believing that.
I don't know. I've convinced some people of some wild things.
That is true, and it still blows my mind that you get away with some of the shit you do.
I've got an act, and I've also got an act 2, and I'm waiting for an act 3.
This is what I'm talking about. This is it. This is where it goes out the window. But any Hoosers, now the PS4 owners can upgrade to the PS5 version of Intergrade for free. But the Yuffie DLC price has not been announced, and that does not come included in your upgrade. So you still have to buy that separately, even if you already own the PS4 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake. So that's there. But if you've never purchased Final Fantasy VII Remake and you want to play the PS5 version, you can go out and purchase the PS5 version of the game for a cool $69.99, or you can buy the Digital Deluxe Edition for, I believe it is $79.99. If not, it's $89.99. I can't remember the price.
I think $79 sounds right, but...
Okay. But at the same time, though, it's weird that we've got prices on that, but we don't have a price for the individual DLC for Yuffie's episode.
Yeah.
I don't quite get that. Because that's a big deal. I want to know what that is.
They might still be deciding.
I'll have to buy that. They could be, but that's kind of shit if they're still... Like, they got the standard price for the Deluxe Edition, which includes it.
Yeah.
You know, and the price of the PS5 version, which includes it. But if I already own the PS4 version, I get my free upgrade, I don't know how much I got to spend on this. I'm expecting anywhere from like $10 to $20. Steven, if you want to hit the next bit of info on this one, because I had that lengthy presentation on Final Fantasy VII Remake.
It was a beautiful presentation.
Thank you.
Good for you, good for me, good for Yuffie, good for Miffy.
And it raised our spirits.
For all of us. Hold on, is that a reference? Because
yes.
you said it raised your spirits, and conveniently, Bridge of Spirits. How do you say it? Kena? Is it Kena?
Mm-hmm.
Kena or Kenna? I feel like I've heard it both ways. Anyway, so if you all remember during the PlayStation 5 State of Play where they showcased PS5 games for the first time. There was this adorable little game that looked like a Studio Ghibli animation thing called Kena Bridge of Spirits. Well, we saw a new gameplay trailer in the most recent State of Play, and the game still looks gorgeous, still looks adorable, still looks like a good old classic 3D platformy action romp. But yeah, so the new gameplay trailer was pretty cool, but some stuff that we didn't already know. Release date. Bridge of Spirits is releasing on August 24th this year, 2021. So that's pretty awesome. Very soon-ish. I mean, within a handful of months.
Yeah.
So that's good. But also, we have prices. So there's going to be a standard edition of the game, $39.99. Good old $40.
Yeah.
I like that.
Same here. I like it a lot.
And then if you want to be all fancy, there's a digital deluxe version that comes with a digital soundtrack, a silver staff, and a golden rot skin.
The rots are the little spirits in the game, for those who aren't aware.
It just sounds awful. Like,
they do, yeah.
Like, out of context, I can't think of anybody who would want golden rot skin. That just sounds rough. Sounds like an STD.
Oh, I got the
anyways,
rot.
So if you'd like some STD skins, you can get the digital deluxe. That one is $49.99. So it's just $10 more. Not bad.
Not bad at all. And then any purchase of this game gets you both versions of the game. So if you'll buy if you buy the PS4 version, you get the PS5 version. You buy the PS5 version, you get the PS4 version.
See, I like that a lot because
same here.
I don't know if I'm gonna have a PS5 by that time.
And it's just how it should fucking be. Like,
yeah, honestly, if it's the same game on the same platform, why the fuck not just let people play it on everything?
Yeah, shouldn't be upcharging.
I always like seeing more of this game because even though like I'm never super like wide-eyed and amazed by it, it just looks so nice. Like,
yeah,
it just looks like a nice little nostalgic. Like it just seems like the way that I feel about Ratchet and Clank. Honestly, it's just like gaming comfort food.
It is. Yeah.
If this game plays at all like it looks like it will, it's going to be pretty wonderful.
Yeah, it is definitely reminiscent for me of like games of old. So I'm thinking like if we took games from the PS2 era of PlayStation, like the great platformers of Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, and things of that nature, and we just
throw some Tak and the Power of Juju in there.
Yeah, and then you just you take those and you take the technology and the advances we've made, 15, 20 years later, and put a spin on that. Kena is that. And I am so stoked because nothing gets me more. So I love my big AAA badass Final Fantasy VII remake type games and whatnot. I love those. But whenever I see a game like Kena, it touches me in a way like I just don't realize I miss until I see it. So like right now that is one of the reasons I got a PS5. Like this is it. Like that is a game I will sit down and I will just immerse myself in. Because I don't imagine it to be, at $40, I don't imagine it to be more than maybe 10, 15 hours long. And I will just dive right into that. Like I am stoked. It looks gorgeous. I am ready to have like a story. Well, maybe not make me, cry and everything, but still get me, provoke some emotion out of me. So pumped.
Yeah, and like I really like the story behind the studio making the game as well.
Yeah.
Ember Lab. So for those that don't know, I think we mentioned this on previous episodes, but just to recap, so they were originally an animation studio, and they would mostly do like commissioned work, different animations and things like that. But they did a fan animation that was based off of Legend of Zelda, and that was sort of their first foray into gaming-related things. And they just decided that they wanted to make a video game, and that's where Kena Bridge of Spirits came about. And the game looks like a game that an animation studio would make. Like it looks like like Pixar level quality. It's really nice.
Yeah, like I could totally see this being like a new age Disney princess animated film kind of deal, like something like Tangled or Frozen, you know, that kind of animation
Moana.
style. Yeah, like I totally see that in this. And I tell you what, if they knock it out of the park with this, like PlayStation will buy them up right then and there. And
I don't know about that.
I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, if the small studio, so it wouldn't cost them a ton of money to get that, and if they give them the tools and stuff like, hey, you did really well with your first game, we want to support you further, like, if this game kills it, if PlayStation does the job right at promoting this, and Ember Labs does a good job of the development process, and just keeping things, you know, neat and nice and tight, this will be a sleeper hit. And I wouldn't be surprised if PlayStation says, hey, yeah, we like adding to our portfolio. We don't want anyone else to come get you while while you're still relatively new. So let's snag a deal. So.
Yeah, but, I mean, so Kena is it's not an outright exclusive, though. It's a timed exclusive. And, I don't know, PlayStation's been kind of stingy with buying people up. If anything, I feel like they're trimming down their studios. So, I don't know. I'm kind of worried, because if it does do an awesome job, yeah, I think somebody's going to want to buy them, and that somebody might be Microsoft.
That's true, but that's what I'm saying. So, like, that's another reason PlayStation might want to jump the gun ahead of time. Like, sure, they're being stingy, but if it's not going to take them too much money to purchase a small company like Ember Lab, you know, like, and especially while it's the exclusivity is timed, if they do their job well, you know, like I see what you're saying. Like, I could totally see Microsoft being wanting to, especially like how they have been. If Microsoft sees this game and a game eventually launches on Xbox consoles after the exclusivity's up, and they say, hey, like let's make a deal, let's do a thing, I think PlayStation would shoot themselves in the foot. I think they'd look at themselves like, we fucked up. We promoted that game. Like, we advertised the hell out of that game for them, and we don't have it anymore. Like, it's just, like, I just feel like it'd be an opportunity squandered, unless this game absolutely tanks, which I don't think it will. From what we've seen, it looks pretty smooth. So.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to see. But,
That's
I mean,
true.
For the time being, it's going to be releasing in a handful of months. What did I say the date was? Jesus. August 24th.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be coming out August 24th, and it's going to be a timed console exclusive on PS4 and PS5. So that'll be some cool shit.
Some cool shit. Some crazy shit. Steven, times are crazy. The world is odd. But there is no game. There is no other thing odder than Odd World.
Sets a storm in my soul.
Yeah, it does. That's right, ladies and gents. Odd World Soulstorm, coming to PlayStation 5 April 6th. So
we have a release date.
Just a little over a month at the time of recording here. Big news come out of this trailer. While it didn't show off anything crazy new or anything like that, other than, you know, the typical, like, hey, it's the sequel to Abe's Odyssey, and your choices, like they did in the beginning, and what you do and how you play still affect the outcomes you'll see in the game. But the biggest news is that this game will be free at launch for PlayStation Plus members for the PS5 version.
So that's exciting.
That's a big fucking deal. So, bummer that PS4 owners won't be able to, you know, play this for free right away. They can still snag it. So even if you've got Plus and you don't have a PlayStation 5, you can still take fair advantage of this opportunity here. So,
I'm excited for this game. I think it looks gorgeous. I like the world of Oddworld. I'm not a super big fan of the gameplay because I'm just really bad at it. But I really like the world, and I'm excited to see more of it, especially on the PS5. Just because, like, they're doing this thing that they're calling it's like 3.
They called it 2.9. 2.9.
2.9D. There we go. So it's not 2.5D, it's 2.9D, where the worlds and the levels have a lot more depth to them, and the camera is a lot more dynamic than a traditional Oddworld game or side-scrolling game. So it's going to have, like, a little bit more of a cinematic tinge to it. And they were kind of showing off how many characters can be on the screen at the same time, and all these like explosions and like physics heavy things happening. So that'll be kind of nice to look at. Yeah, I like destruction in video games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. It'll definitely be. I'm excited for the game actually coming out. I've never been a huge fan of Oddworld per se, but I might give this a try. You know, it's free. I
feel like this one's been in development for like 20 years.
Oh, for sure. And then, so I was actually surprised that they are putting this out for free because of how long it's been in development. But I think they're banking pretty hard on like the Rocket League Fall Guys effect, where it's like, hey, you have it free for a month, and then, well, bam, you know, it's no longer free, and people are like, oh shit, you know, that game looks pretty sick nasty. I want to get on that. How many dollars?
Yeah. Also, like, as much as I hate to say it, I feel like Oddworld has always been more of like a cult following kind of game, and it has never really hit like massive like popularity or like massive commercial success. It's always been kind of like this passion project. I'm honestly surprised that Oddworld still has releases coming out, to be honest, just because of that. So maybe releasing it for free.
I agree.
So maybe releasing it for free can get some more people on board with the world and with the characters and with the story. Like, I've always liked the world and the themes of the Oddworld games. It just, when it comes to the traditional side-scrolling Oddworld games, I'm just not as into them as I am the more like 3D platforming, or even Stranger's Wrath, the platforming / first-person shooter hybrid. But yeah, I can really get behind the themes and stuff, and so maybe by releasing it for free, they're hoping that some people are gonna, you know, start falling in love with that world and characters, and, you know, maybe follow the series into the future. Who knows?
Who knows? Could be a bust.
But hopefully, yeah, it could be a bust. Could be a knockout.
Could be a knockout, Steven.
Could be a whole city of knockouts.
Ooh, I smell a spicy segue.
Yeah, we're getting really good at these segues.
Damn right.
I wonder if they're still good if we acknowledge how good they are.
Fuck that, Steven. I'll acknowledge them all damn day. They're good.
All right.
Spicy.
So anyways, another game that was announced for PlayStation consoles on the State of Play was Knockout City. People who have been paying attention to Nintendo in their recent Nintendo Direct will recognize this one. But it's it's kind of like Splatoon if it were a dodgeball game. Do you think that's a fair way to describe it?
Yeah, in a sense. It's 3v3, so it's not the 4v4 you see in Splatoon. But it's flashy, it's colorful, a lot of maneuverability and things of that nature. It's very fast-paced.
It looks family-friendly.
Yeah, that is definitely a true thing there.
But yeah, so Knockout City, it's like an online multiplayer dodgeball game. Arena dodgeball, I guess, would be a way to describe it. But anyway, so it's coming out on both PS4 and PS5. It has a release date of May 21st, and right now, literally right now, you can sign up for the beta on PlayStation consoles. So
you gonna sign up?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's kind of where my thoughts are with it too.
I mean, honestly, the main reason is, like, half the time I sign up for the betas because I want to be included, and then I don't play them.
Yeah, I'm the same way. We talked about this with the Resident Evil 8 or Resident Evil Village beta that came through, and it was the same thing for me. I'm like, I always sign up for those things, and then I never play. And if I do play, I play once, and I never submit what I think about it. So where it's just useless of me playing it, other than to see like the play test. So
yeah. So like, especially if there's like limited availability, I don't want to take that away from somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when it comes out, I'll probably try it, especially if it's free.
Yeah, I could totally see a game like this launching free for multiplayer, and then you just have microtransactions to support it.
Honestly, like, nowadays, I feel like if a multiplayer game is going to be successful, it's just going to release for free. So, So now I just kind of like don't worry about buying them. But if you like the game and you want to support it, I do suggest buying it. And in the very least, sign up for the beta if you're at all interested.
Yeah.
Try it out that way. How are you going to segue this one?
You can see for yourself if you like Knockout City. But
Sifu myself.
But what you can really see, you fool, is Sifu coming to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. That's right, Steve. I'm a fucking monster. I can't be fucking stopped. All right?
God.
I'm on fire. So, if you ever played Absolver, it was the online multiplayer martial arts game from the developer Slow Clap. Very meticulous, very smooth, very fun. They are now coming out with a single-player story game in the same kind of vein. You play as a martial artist whose master was killed, and you go like straight up kung fu movie. You know, you're going to avenge your teacher, and this game looks brutal. Like, it's not like crazy over the top, but the action in itself is really fun and satisfying to watch. Like, I can't wait for this fucking game. Like,
yeah, it's brutal without being bloody.
Yeah, like you can just see how the viciousness and the brutality of the blows that you strike in this game, and just the devastating counters that you have. Oh my god. Like, I cannot wait for this game. Now, while
it looks nice. It looks like a nice, like, evening game.
So the character model, like, when I first saw him, I'm like, oh my god, it's Ragdoll Kung Fu, but no longer a Ragdoll. It's just Kung Fu.
It did look like Ragdoll Kung Fu.
Like, I can't fucking wait. Let's do it.
Yeah, it has an interesting art style where it's like, it doesn't look retro, but everything is rendered sort of like not low poly, but like lower poly. I guess.
Like a little blocky there.
Yeah, almost like origami in a way.
Everyone's not like, the characters are still like 3D rendered, so they're like, you know, they're not flat. But
yeah, but they have like angles and triangles.
His hair looks like someone just took a black piece of cardboard paper and folded it a bunch.
Yeah, but, I mean, yeah, I thought the action looked really nice. I always thought Absolver was interesting, but I was always kind of a little bit wary of it because of the online functionality of it.
Yeah.
Because I just get really intimidated whenever I'm interacting with other people in anything, really. But, anyways... So with Sifu, the fact that it's specifically a story-driven thing, not online, that entices me a bit more.
Yep.
Especially because with Absolver, one thing that I really appreciated about the way that they approached the game design, they made it kind of rhythmic. Like, there was almost a musicality to the way that you fight. And I got a similar sense with the trailer that we saw for Sifu, where... there's kind of like a flow and a rhythm to the combat, and you know, if that translates, then I can see myself really enjoying this game.
Yeah, I'm pumped. Like, that was probably the biggest announcement for me out of the state of play. Sorry, I'm like, what the hell do they call it? Out of the state of play, because we'd already seen Kena. I was just pumped to get a release date. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Cool, we get a PS5 version, but I've already beaten it on my way to the platinum.
You did almost cry, though, when you saw Yuffie.
I didn't almost cry. Was I stoked? Yeah, but like...
No, you almost cried.
I don't know if I'd say I'd cry.
You were weeping.
I was just pumped because, like...
You were a baby.
Excuse me?
You're a fucking baby. I'm sorry.
Steven.
I just keep seeing myself with the fucking spaghetti stain, and I can't.
Jesus Christ.
I just can't. I can't get that image out of my head. I'm haunted by myself.
Oh my.
It's rough. But yeah, I think Sifu was my favorite announcement as well, just because it was the most new thing. Everything else is either an add-on or just more information about things that we already knew about. But Sifu was the only like actual new game announcement. Overall, though, I was a little bit underwhelmed with this state of play.
Yes. Yeah, it was... There's a lot that should have happened with this state of play that either had already been announced and shown off unceremoniously, or has for some reason decided to trickle out after the state of play, which begs the question from last week: what the hell are they doing with state of plays? Because a lot of these things, well, none of this, I think Sifu was probably the only new game I can think of that came out through that show. Everything else we'd already seen before, we just got more details on, or we had not only seen it before, but we saw it on a different platform not even a week prior.
Yeah, and that's just such a weird thing to do.
Yeah, like, why would you... I don't know if the guys over at Knockout City trying to get this game out are just trying to pimp it out to whoever they can to get the word spread, but it's just odd for you to be in such like a big Nintendo Direct and have announcements there, but you're not. It makes me feel like they're not confident enough in it to have it at the Nintendo Direct and then also at PlayStation. And like, why not mention the betas on the Nintendo Direct, but on the play? I don't know what they're doing.
See, I don't have a problem with them being in multiple places, because that's fine. That's normal, and that's them doing a good job promoting. But on PlayStation's end, I'm just confused because, like, first of all, they waited.
Mm-hmm.
So this didn't happen around the same time. They waited, like a whole week?
Yeah, just about damn near.
It was like a week. So there's that. But also, like, around the state of... So this is... In the last episode, we were talking about how we were confused about the state of play, because it seemed like they kept having state of plays that would just be thrown online without any kind of fanfare. They wouldn't announce anything, and then it would just be like a deep dive into the gameplay of one game. Mm-hmm. But this time, they announced a state of play. They said that they were going to give us a new glimpse into future PlayStation titles with some new announcements and things like that. But they promoted the state of play, which led me to believe that there was going to be some kind of like wild thing, that people would get like super excited about. And I guess PlayStation thought that the wild thing was Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Mm-hmm. but like,
that's the least detailed thing in the damn... We don't even know how much the price is for the biggest appeal of that.
Yeah, we don't know the price, but also it seems like for every cool thing about Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, there's like a little kind of stinger that makes it kind of like, eh. Mm-hmm. Which we'll get into in just a moment. But it's kind of wrapped in with another topic that we're going to go over, which is the PlayStation Plus games for March, which have officially been announced and should
not at
be
the state of play.
Yeah, not at the state of play, which is stupid.
Yeah.
But I understand why. And you'll hear about this here in a hot second. But these PlayStation Plus games are available to download now, right?
Yeah, as of today,
right now.
March 2nd, they are available to download today.
Yeah, and those games are... I'm going to start at the bottom of the list.
Okay.
So, Farpoint for PlayStation VR, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. PlayStation VR exclusive first-person shooter. Remnant from the Ashes on the PS4. That I don't know as much about. Do you know anything about Remnant?
I've seen it around, and I know I saw some articles a while back, and the game came out. It wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't bad. It wasn't anything crazy good. It was a thing. People enjoyed it. That was that. So,
what is it, like a third-person action game?
You were asking the wrong person. I have no idea, honestly. I've seen the name tossed around a lot.
Well, I'm gonna figure that out if you want to keep going.
Yeah. So the next one is also a new game for the PlayStation 5 called Maquette. It's a puzzle game taking place in its own kind of little world. It looks really cool. So again, it's cool to see a game on the PS5 launch for free for the first time. Again, another thing, this should have been in the state of play as well, because there's no real information as to what this game is outside of the blog post that happened. So it would have been nice to kind of show it off for everyone in the masses to see. Now,
wait, hold on.
Huh.
You're talking about Maquette?
Yeah.
They did a reveal a while ago for this game. I can't remember if it was a blog post or if this was in a state of play, but they did show this game before.
feel like it was a blog post, because I don't remember seeing it in a state of play.
Well, so Maquette actually looks pretty cool, and from what I hear, it has a beautiful soundtrack. But it's a first-person puzzle game, but it's kind of designed with like a sort of nested worlds diorama kind of style, where like within the world is a small identical version of that same world, and within that world is a small identical version of that world, and it goes infinitely small and infinitely large, and the things that you do affect all of the worlds, and you can kind of jump between them using objects and things in a really like clever kind of MC Escher kind of inspired way. But yeah, like kind of trippy nested world kind of puzzle solving stuff. But the game looks gorgeous. It gives me honestly similar vibes as The Witness with the art style, which is pretty good. But yeah, so from what I've seen of Maquette, I think is how you say it. From what I've seen of it, I recommend it. That's actually my PlayStation Plus pick for this month. But real fast, so looking at Remnant from the Ashes, it's a third-person survival action shooter. It looks like it's got a sort of like dark fantasy art style to it. Honestly, it kind of looks badass. Not gonna lie, just based on the trailer. Of
So
course,
like, I feel like shooters like that always get you. Like, they look super cool, super badass, super edgy, and then you play it and it's just bad.
Well, this has like weird werewolf aliens.
See, it's hitting up all the crazy things that people love.
There's a dodge button so you can dodge.
Oh shit! Word.
There's like fire breathing shit.
See, it's barking up so hard.
Look up the Metacritic.
It's barking up the tree too hard. It makes you feel like it tried too hard. It flew too close to the sun.
Well, the developer is Perfect World.
That doesn't ring any bells.
I don't know if that's at all related to Perfect World, the MMO. But it has a 77 on Metacritic. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it ain't bad. I want to look at deep dive into some of those reviews to get a good feel of it. But like I said, I saw this game like publicized on everything, but then it came out and it was like, all right. That's why I don't know if it.
The most glowing review from gamer.nl, whatever, says Remnant from the Ashes plays borrowed neighbors with many popular games, but thanks to good shooting and co-op action, it stands completely on its own. So that was the most glowing review. And the least glowing review was from DualShockers. They gave it a 65. And they said, Remnant from the Ashes is an ambitious title, and a fairly unique one at that. It just does not always stick the landing.
Yeah, okay. That seems like more what I think it's going to be. It's an average game. Not bad, not exceedingly great, but a fun time. A fun little romp.
But it's free and it's co-op!
That's real. That is free. But you know what else is free, Steven?
Here's the big one.
Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PS4. So, let me preface this. This is fucking huge. That's a big game. That was one of the biggest games of last year. Multiple Game of the Year winner. Multiple Game of the Year nominees. What stinks about this is that this version of the game does not upgrade to the PS5 version for free. So if you want to play, and if you have a PS5 and you want to feel the full experience of this game, along with the intergrade content as well as the Yuffie episode, you still got to pay for that bad boy.
And that Yuffie episode not playable on PS4.
It's like, what the fuck?
This is where they get you.
And see, I wonder if this is more, because this, just due to their history, is a total fucking Square Enix move. Like, that sounds right up their goddamn alley. I'm not surprised by it. It's their game that is being done like this. I'm surprised that PlayStation was like, yeah, okay, we'll do it.
I'm not surprised that they said they do it, but
it's true, but it's just like, what the, like, I would have.
It's just annoying.
Yeah, like, what the hell?
Because, okay, so all of this nonsense about, like, oh, well, you can pay extra money to upgrade or whatever. You can do, like, this thing. This is the difference between the PS5 and the PS4 version. All of that for all of these different games, it's annoying to navigate. I like it when you have a game on PS4 and it launches on PS5, you just get it. I like that. You don't have to spend any money. You get an upgraded version. That's nice. That's the way that it ought to be. Now, with Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, they almost did a great job. They were like, oh, okay, you have the PS4 version. You can just get the upgraded PS5 version for free. They laid out pricing for
the PS5 version of the games if you didn't already own the PS4 version.
Yeah, so, like, that was nice. They made it nice and clear and simple. And then they throw this in here, and they're like, oh, also, everybody with a PlayStation Plus account, so basically everyone with a PS4, but everyone gets Final Fantasy VII Remake. Isn't that great? But then once you get a PS5, you gotta pay money.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have a PS5? Oh, well, here's this really nice, awesome DLC with Yuffie. It's its own story thing. Really awesome. Continues the story. Can't play it.
So
why the fuck?
I would be okay with the upgrade thing if it was consistent. It is so different from game to game to game, and it's infuriating because we know it's totally up to PlayStation to say, like, hey, you're going to do this because Microsoft's fucking doing it. You know, if you own the version of the game, like, cool, you get the upgrade, boom, done, in a conversation.
I mean, so here's the thing though. I can understand them not mandating it because different developers and different publishers have different needs, and yeah, I can understand them kind of letting it be up to the developers how they want to approach it. But I think the main issue is the communication. And, like, me, I'm not a game developer, but if I were a game developer, me personally, I would want it to be the easiest, most seamless thing for my audience. But it's annoying because there's no standard and because there's no mandate, really, all that it hurts is the consumer because typically the smaller companies are the ones who are like, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to make this really easy and seamless. It's going to be nice. And then a big company comes in and they're like, oh, we'll make money no matter what. So you got to pay money.
Yeah, and, like, I would, honestly, so I'm more concerned with the consistency piece of if they were to tell me that every PS4 game that wants to be upgraded to the PS5 is a $10 upgrade fee, cool. Okay. I get it. There's extra stuff in this game that wasn't there before. They worked hard to get that out there. I respect it. I'll toss you my dollars if I feel it, worth doing. I get it. But I want to stick to one thing or the other. Like, if you're gonna charge, okay, like, make it clear and concise. Don't make it this convoluted thing. Like, this is what we ran into with Spider-Man. It made no fucking sense as to why they were doing it the way they did it. And they then proved everyone right by going back and doing what everyone said you should do. Because they're like, yeah, okay, it makes sense. Like, if you get this, like, if you want the PS5 version of Spider-Man Remastered, cool, alright, yeah, we'll transfer your save. Cool, you'll get the trophies. Because it makes fucking sense. The game at its core is the same. Sure, you up-res some things and you change a character model or two, but, like, the game itself is still the fucking same. Like, it's not like a 10-year gap between, like, it's not like a PS2 game being remade on the PS4. It's not that situation. Yeah. This is games made within the last decade, that are running on very similar technology, just faster technology. So I don't know, it's frustrating. I want consistency, damn it.
Me too. Speaking of inconsistencies, though, a long time PlayStation Store tradition, I guess you can call it that, is ending. And that is the ability to purchase and rent movies and TV shows on the PlayStation Store. So this is a thing that was first started during the PS3 era, was carried over onto the PSP, which is where I got really into it. I don't know why, but for some reason I got like an episode of Invader Zim. and an episode of Chowder.
God.
I downloaded those on my PSP. And they weren't even the first episode. They were like just random ass episodes.
I did the same thing. I bought an episode of Code Monkeys. God, I miss that show. I miss that show so much.
But yeah, so that's not going to be a thing here in the near future. Did they give it a date?
Yeah, so according to the blog post, this comes from Vanessa Lee over in the PlayStation blog. At SIE, we strive to provide the best entertainment to experienced fans, blah, 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 blah. We've seen tremendous growth from the PlayStation fans using subscription-based and ad-based entertainment streaming services on our consoles. With this shift, we've decided to no longer offer movie and TV purchases and rentals through PlayStation Store as of August 31st. Anything you still own, anything you've purchased or rented beforehand will still work even after August 31st. So if you've, like, I own an episode of Code Monkeys, I'll still own it after August 31st. I just can't go back and buy more episodes.
And I can still watch my episode of Invader Zim and my episode of Chowder on my PlayStation Vita if I so choose.
Yeah. I think this makes sense, though. I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner when they remodeled the PlayStation Store and streamlined it. Like, they got rid of, PS3 and Vita titles, but they kept the fucking TV and the movies. Like, no one... When they canceled the PlayStation TV, like, streaming thing, they should have canned this with it. Because they go hand in hand. No one's doing this because of subscription-based, like she said. Between Netflix, Disney+, Hulu, Paramount+, Amazon Prime Video, there are so many things you're subscribed on that work on everything. No matter what the device, you can pop in. While PlayStation was available on certain devices and mobile devices, things of that nature, it was just inconvenient. So no one was renting a movie on the PlayStation Store. No one was buying new movies on the PlayStation Store. So why have it? It's a waste of money. They're not earning anything from it. They're probably wasting money trying to just put it on the store to list it.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the main thing for this is they're just trying to clean house, so to speak, and make room for other things. Because, yeah, I mean, they mentioned in the blog post that streaming services are just more popular, that whole thing. However, I have actually, even recently, I have rented movies on the PlayStation Store. And it is entirely because oftentimes something just isn't available on a streaming service. And I will open every single streaming service, and I will look and see, and it won't be there. Mm-hmm. But more often than not, it's available on the PlayStation Store, and I can rent it for like $4 or $5, and it's fine. And that's one thing that I actually really liked about on the PlayStation Store. They actually had a pretty freaking huge catalog of movies and shows and shit.
Yeah, they definitely, and I think that was them trying to save what they could, right? I mean, if you have a bigger library, like in people in your situation where they're looking for them to watch and it's not available on anything, like, okay, yeah, let's make it available here, people will do it. But I think the number of that is so few and far between where it's not worth it. Like, we spent how much money to list this movie on there, and we've got 4 people renting it. Like, come on.
Yeah, and especially in like recent times, like the PlayStation 5 store just did not prioritize this at all. Like, I don't even know if there's a way to get to this. Yeah,
it's there. It's actually the easiest to do out of all of their systems. You go to the store and it highlights the game sections. You press R1 and it'll take you from games straight to media. It's the same part that allows you to download your streaming services like Disney Plus or Netflix.
Well, damn. I wonder if that tab is just going to go away.
It'll still be there because you still have your streaming services there. You'll still have your Spotify.
I guess that's fair, yeah.
You'll still have your Spotify and all that stuff there. It's just you won't be able to buy movies or rent them, which totally, more often than not. Like, how often do you go to, like, I mean, in your case, like you said, you just did, but I can't remember the last time I went through the PlayStation Store and said, "Oh, let's look at the movie sales." I'm like, I've got everything else under the sun, and honestly, if I'm gonna buy a movie digitally and just own it outright, I'll buy it on iTunes, just because, like, I have Apple everything for the most part. I have no reason to buy it on anything else. And most of and that's another thing. A lot of these things play along with each other. Like Movies Anywhere and Apple and the Google Play Store. They're like, oh, you own it on this? Oh, okay. Well, we'll let you just stream it through that because you own that on that platform. Everyone talks to each other If I buy it on PlayStation, I've got to download the PlayStation app to watch it. I can't just, like, oh, okay, it's here.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, ultimately, I think this is a good thing because I want PlayStation focusing on games anyways. And I want, like, streaming services are good at being streaming services, and just being able to host them on a PlayStation platform and give people access to that, that's great. That's the solution. It's fine. Let the experts at doing that do that, and let PlayStation focus on games. The only thing that makes me a little bit sad is now I feel like the chances of, and I am totally in the minority here, but the chances of more like PlayStation original media, whether they're reality shows like The Tester, or their own series like Powers, or their own anime like Zammed, if you remember that back in the day.
Yeah, I do.
The chances of that happening again now are pretty slim. Now, I mean, still, they can still do that kind of original content and just host it on another platform like Netflix, kind of like the Witcher streaming, or the Witcher TV show, and things like that.
Or The Last of Us TV series.
I mean, Last of Us on HBO, which is coming out.
And honestly, I guarantee you, because Sony has that stake, like, they own Funimation, probably the biggest anime publisher out in the world right now, especially in the West. They own that, and they just purchased Crunchyroll. I wouldn't be surprised if Zammed is already on one of those services.
I think it already was on one of those.
Yeah, so I think it's on one of those already and has been for a while. And
actually, I think I might have seen it on Netflix once.
Yeah, like
I might be totally wrong. But
I think they're better off just creating it, putting the PlayStation Studios, whatever label they need to, on it, and then letting the other guy take care of it. Let the other guy do the work, because that's what they've done. That's what they're good at.
Yeah, I just want another season of The Tester.
Jesus.
And I know that I'm totally in the minority, but I remember back when that came out, I would be all excited. I would invite Ariel over, my a friend of mine at the time, and I would wait. Like, I wouldn't watch it until I could watch it with her, but we wouldn't. Like, not all the. She wasn't always able to come over to my house because I was living with my parents and we were younger, or whatever. But we would go on to PlayStation Home, and there was a theater in PlayStation Home where you could watch The Tester with your friends. And so we would watch The Tester together in PlayStation Home, and it was awesome.
Well, now
I miss both of those things.
You got all these watch party things out now with Disney Plus and Netflix and Hulu. You can do watch parties.
It's not the same. We don't have PlayStation Home.
No one needs PlayStation Home back, Steven.
I do. PlayStation Home saved my life. I wish I were lying. I wish that this was some kind of an exaggeration or some kind of, like, poetic joke, but no, PlayStation Home saved my life.
Well, who knows? Maybe with all this slashing of stuff that they deem unnecessary, and they're like, you know what? Home was a good bet. Bring it back. This could be it.
The internet would blow up, and they would kill it. Like,
I think Home would kill itself because they could never get it to work, and when it finally worked, they killed it themselves. That game
literally, they added trophies to PlayStation Home, and within months, they shut it down.
Like, it was only out of beta.
Who the fuck does this?
Like 2 months, and it was in beta for years.
Well, I mean, that's kind of normal for those kinds of things, if you think about it, because it was like an ever-changing online community kind of thing.
Yeah, but they kept the beta label on there for forever. Like, that's cool to release updates there, but they didn't take the beta name off of it for years. I mean,
because it got pretty dramatic changes, like, all throughout that time.
And every change was like I remember installing those updates. Like, I remember why I stopped using Home was because those updates to start using it for parts of it, I was like, I'm not going to use that part.
Yeah, that
taking
was the worst
fucking
part.
forever. I'm like, this isn't worth it. This isn't worth it. I just want to do this thing, but I have to download 4 other things I don't care about, and it's taking so much time.
Yeah, that really was the worst part about it. But seriously, I feel like PlayStation Home is another example of PlayStation just being way ahead of the game. Like, I feel like they were too ahead of their time, where I feel like something like PlayStation Home, if it were to come out now, with more capable systems, with everyone having faster internet, with more of an emphasis on, socializing and community with video games, I feel like PlayStation Home would really thrive. But the chances of it ever happening again, pretty minimal. But damn, was it so fucking cool. It was like a glimpse into the future of what video games could be. I love PlayStation Home. I really do. And it was pretty progressive for its time too.
Yeah.
I was really impressed. So in PlayStation Home, around the time the PlayStation Home came out, people were being banned for having the word gay in their gamer tag or, online ID or whatever. But PlayStation Home comes around and they're like, you know what? You want to make a gay club? Do it. You want to sext with avatars in your own decorated apartment? Do it. You want to dress up like a weird BDSM devil and dance to electronic music while a trailer for iPet plays in the background?
Oh my god.
It was great.
Not the iPet, no.
iPet. I still need to platinum that. My iPet is probably dying.
Just fecal
no, they can't die,
everywhere.
but he's just he's just in a perpetual state of feeling like he's gonna die.
That's worse than death.
Yeah, it's ultimate torture. I gave him a nice little mohawk. I taught him a certain song.
Jesus.
I liked iPet.
Well, Steven, I hope our listeners liked our show. Because that, everybody, concludes the latest episode of Dual Senses, a PlayStation podcast where we give you our 2 cents on everything. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe to the show. And if you want to help us out and you want to see us do super fancy cool things, head on over to mtfproductions.com/donate, where you can donate as little as $1. But until then, we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening. Love, love, love.
Okay, bye.